Okay, so I'm going to do another quick battle report. I went to a one-day tournament. It was 3 rounds, 1,500 points, and I took my dwarfs. I'm going to run through my list quickly to start off with, and then I'll go through my first matchup. So my first matchup was Wood Elves again. Um, it's only the second time that I've played with my dwarfs, and I've only played against Wood Elves. But this Wood Elf list was more competitive. It was in a tournament environment, so it's definitely going to be a bigger challenge. When I got drawn against it, I was like, oh, here we go. This is going to be rough. So here's my list. I'll just run through it quickly, and then I've got a picture of the army, but you can just have a quick look at it. Um, so I got them all painted. I changed my list like a week before the event, and so I had to paint another 700, 800 points worth of dwarfs, but I got them all painted. So I've got starting off with characters. I've got a runesmith. She's got a great weapon, and I think that's all she's got. Oh no, she got a rune spell breaking as well. I'll go back to the list in a second. The engineer, he just had a pistol and a great weapon. Um, then this is a theme with the battle center bearer. I put the wrong model. I took a battle center bearer with me in case my opponent wanted to visualize it, so I could just put it on the base with him. But he had a great weapon. He had the Master Rune of Grungni for the 5-up ward save, and then the 6-up ward save for against range attacks for things within 6 inches. And I think that's all he had on him. A shield. Shield bearers, but I don't think he had any other armor, any other runes of defense or anything. Again, we can check. Let's see. Do we have? Let me just. Yeah, nothing else on him. And then runesmith, yeah, just a rune of spell breaking. And then into my core, I had 15 warriors with hand weapon, shield, great weapons. They had a battle center full command, and the battle center bearer had. It's funny you can't really see it in this picture, but this is the battle center bearer. He had the rune of battle, so plus 1 by combat runners. He also had a unit of 16 quarrelers with shields and great weapons and full command. Moving on to special, I had a unit of 12 iron breakers, full command, and the champion of the unit had cinder blast bombs. Then I also had 2 grudge throwers. One of them had rune of reloading, and the other one had the rune of the stalwart rune. And it's just because they're 5-point runes to put onto them to give them magic attacks. So in case I can't make against anything ethereal like vampire counts or maybe high elves, lizard men with an ethereal slan, anything like that. It was just so I had magical attacks on them to deal with that kind of thing. And then down at the front here, I had 2 units of 7 iron drakes. The champion in each unit had a trollhammer torpedo and cinderblast bombs. So these are going to be my screens to basically defend against charges coming in. I can stand and shoot with them and hopefully do a bunch of damage on the charge. And then they've got a 4 power save. So they can, I mean, they're expensive, but they're good screens, especially with the cinderblast bombs in there. Okay, let's have a quick look at my opponent's list. So my opponent was running Wood Elves, like I said. So he had a level 4 Spellweaver with Ruby Ring of Ruin, Elementalism. The spells he got, he took, with the Law Familiar, he took Earthen Ramparts. He ummed and ahed about taking Plague of Rust. In the end, he decided not to take it because I didn't have any gyrocopters, was his reasoning for it. I think that was probably a mistake in the long run. But yeah, so he took Plague of Rust. He didn't take Plague of Rust. He had Earthen Ramparts. He took the Vortex, the small Vortex spell. I can't remember what it's called. The one that I think it does damage when it hits things. I'll have a look. He took Tree Singing as like he replaced the spell for Tree Singing. And what was his other spell? I don't think he had. I don't. Whatever it was, he didn't cast it. I don't think. So yeah. That was his only character. Then he had 6 Glade Guard, 6 Glade Guard, 6 Glade Guard, 6 Glade Guard, 5 Glade Guard. Oh, typing. So poison. 70 was Scouts. Moonfire shot. I think that gives them magic attacks. Then some Wild Riders with the Banner of the Hunter King. I have no idea what that does. Let me look it up. Banner of the Hunter King. It's called. I'll look that up. Then you need another six Wild Riders, and then another 5 Wild Riders, and then 2 Zadig 60 Bud Scouts. Both the Arcane Bodkins for the -2 AP, and then 2 Eagles. Oh, it gives them Vanguard. That's what it did. Let me see. What's he got? Elementalism. Elementalism. Ooh, okay. So let's look at this. So this, I think this is after my first. I think I went first. We're playing flank attack. So I've got a unit of. I chose this flank over here, and I've got one of my grudge throwers down in this bottom corner on a hill, and I've got a unit of iron drakes over here as well. I was further back. This is after my first turn, my first movement phase. I think this might be at the end of my first turn actually. I was thinking about putting the grudge thrower up on this hill, so I had line of sight to everything. But then I thought, if I'm up here, he's got a bunch of scouts and stuff, and these guys were all deployed over here. So I thought it's probably better for me to be behind the hill, so he can't hit me with anything himself, because I can fire in directly anyway. That was my thinking anyway. So yeah, my first turn, in my deployment, I don't know why I put these here. I think it was just inexperience of using dwarfs, inexperience of playing against wood elves. I put them way too far in the back. They basically didn't do very much for the entire game because I just really mispositioned them here. They should have been further forward, and then I could have moved them or like swung them round to be shooting over here. So you'll see them just kind of standing here and like not moving very much for the rest of the game. But I have my king in my warriors unit. So this warrior block has a static res of banner, war banner, battle standard bearer, 2 ranks, and close order. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a pretty solid unit. And then my iron breakers are off doing their own thing. This was his vanguard. That's what the banner does. It gives these guys vanguard. He moved them up. In my first turn, I did shoot at them with these iron drakes. I didn't do anything. And that was all I did in my first turn. Nothing exciting happened at all. Let me see. Oh, summon elemental spirit. That was the other spell that he had, the vortex. And then he had wind blast. That was his spell he had, but he never used it. So this was his deployment. These were his scouts. These were 2 units here with the AP2 bows and the magical attacks. Yeah, like I said, I fired all these guys at these and didn't do anything in my first turn. So here's the other grudge thrower that won this hill. Yep. So this is his first turn. He's moving the wild riders up through the forest. Oh no, I must have killed one. I must have killed one with my shooting. So he moves them up. And then on this flank, he moved everything around the hill. He didn't want to go up onto the hill so I could shoot it with everything. But he moved everything around. So this is not looking great. And then the Deepwood Scouts here open fire. Well, everything here open fire on my iron breakers. I was for the longest time, for about 2-3 turns, I thought that these guys were Glade Riders. I forgot that they were Wild Riders. So again, inexperience, but I'll learn with time. I wasn't too worried about the eagles. They only got 3 wounds. They don't really have any armor. I think they only toughness 4, maybe toughness 5. So they weren't really. I wasn't concerned about them at all. So yeah, here we go. This is basically what happened for the entire game, which is one of the reasons my quarrels were in such a bad position to start off with. I think if I'd been further forward, I would have been able to move around that, or even like go into a marching column and just get into a better position. So this is the tree. One of them is the tree singing, where he puts a tree down, and the other one is not Earthen Ramparts, the other. What was it called? Summon Elemental Spirit. So these basically sat here for the entire game because there's wizards here, and these are all his Eternal Guard. Also, if you see my Runesmith is in this unit, which was another mistake, because I was trying to give them like flaming attacks that they don't need, but then also the Armor Bane 4, basically. But unfortunately, yeah, I wasn't in range of anything basically to shoot the entire game. So that was his turn 1. So my turn 1, my turn 2, sorry. Yeah, these open fire. This was the only thing my quarrelers did, open fire. As you can see, he killed 2 of my Iron Breakers, my Iron Drakes, in his shooting phase. I don't think he killed anything. And maybe he did some damage to my Iron Breakers as well. I'll have a look in a second. Yeah, so I killed those and then just repositioned around, pointing my warriors in this direction, waiting for the charge of the Wild Riders and the Eagles to coming in. So this was his turn 2. All of his shooting basically went into these Iron Drakes at the front here. And I think it was like the last unit of Eternal Guard, Glade Guard, whatever they're called, that managed to kill them. Killed the last one. Eagles came flying in, trying to threaten my Grudge Thrower. I think these guys killed 2, 3, 4. It looks like he was rolling really, really hot for the Armor Bane, for the wounding on these dwarfs. Bearing in mind he only had 10 shots over them. Hitting on 3s, granted, but then wounding on 5s. I think they've got Armor Bane 1 as well or something. So he rolled so many 6s to get through onto this unit, and I just failed all my saves, even though it's a 3 up, rerolling 1s, and then the 6 up from the banner. I still failed a lot of them. And yeah, that's 4 Iron Breakers here. Iron Breakers. He dropped these and then put them back up, and he moved the Wild Riders up. I think I killed one of them with a Grudge Thrower in the previous turn, or maybe in this turn. Yeah, the previous turn I think I killed one with a Grudge Thrower. So, but this is a costly error that he's made here because he didn't measure it. He said to me, because I'm charging, I declared a charge with my dwarfs, my warriors here. He said to me afterwards he thought it was 10 inches away, so I couldn't charge, but he didn't measure it. So it was a mistake from him, a mispositioning, an error for sure. So I charged the eagle with my iron breakers. I was like, oh, I'll definitely get this, no problem. Charged here with my warriors, and tragedy struck. If you see in this last picture. So my runesmith here was 7 inches away from this eagle. And I was like, oh, I'll charge the eagle because he's got a great weapon. He'll be striking first against it, I think. Maybe not actually, but he's got a great weapon. He's got good armor. Decent weapon skill, I think. He'll charge in, and it's only got 2 wounds. I think maybe I have 1 wound left. I'll kill it. No problem. Tragic. Failed the charge. I've rolled a 1 and a 2 on the 2 dice. Absolutely tragic. So now he's stuck out in the middle of nowhere. And my runesmith, my engineer is my general. My thinking is he's usually stood at the back, so he's not going to get killed very often, so I'm not going to give those points. Whereas this guy's running forward, and she's probably going to be getting forward, trying to get in range to dispel things. Tragedy. So yeah, made this charge, made this charge. Yeah, he killed 3 of them in the last turn. So that's not too bad, I suppose. So I killed all but 1 of the Wild Riders in this combat. My general, not my general, my Thane has a great weapon, so I think he did most of the work there. And then, like I said, I've got combat. Sorry, I think I won this combat by 8. So he fled. It was a proper flee because I outnumbered him 2 to 1 as well. So it was a proper full-on flee. And then I overran into these next Wild Riders. My Iron Breakers, I lost another 2 of them to the Eagle. And then I did win the combat though from combat res. I don't think I did any wounds to it. And it just gave ground. I followed it up. Then this was his turn, I believe. Yes, this was his turn. I don't think. So yeah, his turn. You can see he shot everything at my general and killed him. Nothing else took too much damage. I think he moved these guys over here and shot through at my quarrelers. But I don't think he killed any. Maybe he shot these guys, didn't kill any. But these guys were shooting through this gap, trying to kill stuff over here. Didn't manage to get anything. These guys then moved round over the hill because they couldn't see anything because the hill was in the way. Because they were over here previously. Trying to just disrupt me over here, I think. This eagle, I think I shot it to bits in my previous turn. Here. When I failed to charge, I think I just shot it to death with my shooting over here. So this guy died. This hill is turned around at the minute because the eagle was like balancing on it. So, but it's fully covering here. So these guys don't have any line of sight across it. So that's what happened in his turn. He didn't get these spells out, I don't think. So then my turn, in his turn I killed more of the second squad of Wild Riders, and they fled again because I think I will come out by again another 8. They fled. This unit of archers also fled. They panicked. The eagle, I did a wound to it. Did it kill any more? It killed 1 more of my guys, but it fell back in good order. And I chose not to pursue it because it was my turn next. I think in hindsight I maybe should have followed up. Yeah. So yeah, then my turn. I used drilled to. Maybe I didn't even use drilled. I just reformed. It might have been drilled that I did this with. So that the eagle wouldn't be charging me in my flank. Let's see. So yeah, I think I threw my Cinderblast bombs from this guy at the eagle or at the scouts. I didn't do any damage. And these guys just turned around and moved in this direction a bit. But I absolutely should have charged these fleeing elves. All these fleeing guys to make them flee again. Absolutely. I don't know why I didn't. Huge mistake. Should have charged these or these. I'm never going to get over here. I'm a dwarf. Or I should have gone into marching column and then just gone for him. But this was a mistake. And as you can see, my quarrels are still just hanging out over here. These guys out of the fight behind this forest. It's just really bad positioning. Deployment is what this was. Really bad deployment. Luckily now I'm in range. Maybe got 1 or 2 turns left of shooting. Yeah, these guys pop over the hill. I don't do anything with my Cinderblast bombs. So the Deepwood Scout charged my Grudge Thrower, and I fled. So I flee through my unit, whoop, and popped out over here somewhere, which meant that these guys could choose to redirect, or they could choose to go into combat with these. They ended up, I think they failed their test to redirect, and they just went into the flank of the quarrelers, which was going to be bad news for them. The eagle ignored my quarrelers, my ironbreakers. This horse continued to flee. These wild riders continued to flee. They failed their leisure test and continued to flee. This guy's on double one, so he also fled. These guys passed and rallied. I think he's measuring spells and shooting from his glade guard and stuff. Like I said, the eagle moved past. These guys rallied. These guys both fled. I think all of these guys shot at my iron breakers again. But yeah, so I won this combat because I got great weapons on these guys. I've got a standard, I had a rank, and I've got close order. So I won just by combat rares, and I killed a couple of them with my champion moving along. And then I reformed at the end of combat. To try and get them to have some shots off. So these 9 elves managed to kill another 2 iron breakers with shooting, which was rough. I then turned the iron breakers around and threw a cinder blast bomb from the champion at the eagle and killed it. Cinder blast bombs, so good. 15 points, always take it. Yeah, I think this is his turn. I think I moved these guys up with drilled, and then in my next turn I reformed them, but they didn't make the charge. I've been trying to shoot this unit with my quarrelers and my grudge throwers, and I didn't do anything to them. He had earthen ramparts up, and I just missed so many shots. He made so many saves. So this was... I should have been further forward to start with, and I could have just destroyed this unit with the general. Absolutely, that's what I should have done. This was a huge misplay for me. These guys fled from this charge. They just moved behind the hill because they weren't going to be in range of anything. So they just ran behind the hill. And then on my last turn, these guys just turned around to face these guys and hope that they didn't get killed by all of this shooting. I think that's the last picture. These guys did rally on this turn, on his next turn. These guys, they took my iron breakers down to 2. Down to two guys. So if they'd have only killed 1, he wouldn't have got any points for them, but he killed 2 of them. So he got a quarter of the points for the unit. Yeah, the game ended with a dwarf victory. We weren't doing 20-0 at the tournament. It was just wins, loss, and then the final game. The final result was decided on kill points, victory points. So I got. Let's see, what was the points? But it was a dwarf victory. But it could have been a lot more if I'd have put my quarrels in the correct position. It would have been a lot more. It was 580 points for the dwarfs, and then 357 for the wood elves, and 160 of that 357 came from my engineer, who was my general dying. So yeah, that's first round, first win, hopefully. Yeah, I think in hindsight, I was too cautious against the poison arrows of the wood elves on the other side of the table. I shouldn't. Like, I'm a dwarf, right? So if they don't get poisoned, they've only got a shot each. So they need 6s to poison me, and then if they fail that, they've got to get 5s to wound me. And then I've got a 4-up save against them with my quarrelers. For the first turn or 2, I was in range of I could have been in range of the banner. It would have given me a 6-up ward save. So I should have been much more aggressive with them, I think. I should have deployed them further forward, like on the line. Ready, and then the first turn I should have just accepted that I was ponderous and just moved forward to get myself in range. But I think if I'd have done that, I'd have definitely killed his general's unit, and I would have got the points there for sure. Maybe even with these, I think I also should have moved these up into the forest, and then I could have been shooting these as well. But my second game against Wood Elves, and it's a tournament game, and I won, so I'll take it. Very happy. Okay, so if you stay till now, you're a top person, and if you want to, any of the stuff on the video would be great. Subscriptions, likes, shares, comments, all that stuff would be great. I'll put the army lists in the description as well if I remember. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching.